Chosen one, pause everything you're doing right now. If you're watching this, it's not by accident. God has spoken 5 times, and each time it's a warning just for you. A trap has been laid in your path, something unseen, something waiting to derail your blessings, your purpose, and your destiny. And you need to hear this because ignoring it could cost you more than you realize. This isn't just a message. This is a spiritual alert. The universe is shifting. Energies are aligning. And your prayers are moving from mere desires to actual realities. But here's the thing. Not everyone will make it through this transition. Only those who listen, who act with discernment, and who protect their space will step into what God has prepared. Listen carefully. This trap is subtle. It's not always obvious. It could be a relationship, a business deal, a distraction, or even your own thought huts that lead you off course. And if you're not vigilant, you might walk right into it. I need you to do 3 things right now to protect yourself and amplify the power of this message. Hit that like button. This sends a signal that you are awake, aware, and ready to step into your destiny. Subscribe. We are building a community of 1,000 chosen ones who are learning to navigate divine protection and alignment. Comment the number 77. This isn't random. This is a spiritual code that communicates to the universe that you are serious, that you are awake, and that you are claiming your protection. Chosen one, your spirit, knows this is for you. The moment you ignore the signs, the moment you let distractions pull you away, that's when the trap strikes. But if you stay alert, if you heed this warning, what's coming will blow your mind. Opportunities, blessings, breakthroughs, they're already on their way. You just need to walk carefully, protect your energy, and trust what God has said. Stay with me until the end of this message, because if you do, your life will shift in ways you can't even imagine. But if you stop now, you might miss the very warning that could have saved you. Take a deep breath, stay focused, and listen. Your destiny depends on it. Have you ever felt a gentle nudge in your spirit, only to dismiss it as coincidence? What if I told you that God has been shouting your name, not once, but 5 times, trying to get your attention? These are not mere coincidences or random signs. They are divine interventions. Each warning, each feeling of unease, each repeated circumstance is God's voice saying, "Stop. Listen. I'm protecting you." Too often, we brush these signs aside, assuming the timing isn't right or that we are capable of handling things on our own. But God's timing is never off, and ignoring His voice can be costly. Imagine walking toward a cliff, thinking the path is safe, when a friend tries to warn you repeatedly. Would you risk your life just to prove your independence? That's exactly what happens when God calls, and we ignore Him. Those small signs are His angels in disguise guiding you away from danger. Listening now could mean the difference between a life of fulfillment and a path strewn with regret. Every spiritual awakening begins with awareness. When God calls, He doesn't just whisper, He insists. He knows the plans He has for you, the blessings, the destiny, and the breakthroughs. But He also knows the enemy lurks in shadows, ready to turn blessings into setbacks. Are you listening, or have you chosen to silence His voice? The next steps you take will reveal your faith or your folly. Life often presents opportunities that seem perfect on the surface, but underneath danger waits silently. The enemy is clever, disguising traps as what we desire most: a promotion, a relationship, or a financial breakthrough. If you rush without discernment, What appears as a blessing could crumble before your eyes, leaving devastation in its wake. This is why God urges you to pause, to step back, and to seek His guidance before moving forward. Consider the story of a person who received a dream job offer from a seemingly trustworthy company. Without prayer or reflection, they accepted. Within weeks, they discovered corruption, betrayal, and practices that threatened their ethics and stability. That opportunity, once thought golden, turned into a trap. God's warnings often work like a protective fence around our lives. His goal isn't to deny us blessings, but to protect us from destruction disguised as favor. Hidden traps are often invisible to the human eye. The enemy knows your desires, your dreams, and the areas where you are vulnerable. He sets snares precisely where your heart is most eager. But God, in His infinite wisdom, moves in secret to shield you. Trusting His process even when it seems slow or frustrating ensures that you will walk into blessings fully prepared, rather than being caught in pitfalls that derail your destiny. There is a divine pause in your life, and it is not accidental. Heaven often intervenes just before disaster strikes, creating delays, closed doors, or sudden changes in circumstances. These interruptions may feel frustrating, like life is against you, but in truth, they are God's way of saying, "Not yet, wait for me." Standing still during these moments requires faith, patience, and trust that He sees what you cannot. Think of it as a storm warning. Would you drive into a hurricane because the sky looked clear 5 miles back? Of course not. God's intervention works similarly. He sees the storms, the betrayals, and the collapses that are invisible to you by instructing you to pause. He is ensuring that when the right time comes, you step forward unharmed and fully aligned with your purpose. Standing still is not inactivity. It is spiritual strategy. It is a declaration that you trust God over your own understanding. It is recognizing that His timing is perfect, that His protection is real, and that the breakthrough waiting for you is worth waiting for. Each day of obedience now is a shield for tomorrow's triumphs. The promise of breakthrough is real, but it hinges on your obedience. God's instructions are often simple. Wait, listen, trust, and walk in integrity, yet our impatience tempts us to leap ahead, to act before the signal, and to chase what seems urgent. In doing so, we may jeopardize the very blessing we seek. Your breakthrough is within reach, but it will come in God's perfect timing, not yours. Think about the farmer who plants seeds. Planting too early or harvesting too soon destroys the crop. Timing matters. In the same way, God's instructions are about the right spiritual timing. Every delay is designed to strengthen your character, protect your position, and ensure that your success is lasting. Obedience now guarantees that when doors open, they open fully and favorably. Obedience is not merely action. It is faith in motion. It is a conscious choice to align your will with God's wisdom, even when emotions scream for speed. Remember, the closer you are to the breakthrough, the more the enemy fights to delay or destroy it. But God's hand is stronger than any enemy's plan. Walk carefully, act faithfully, and watch as His promises unfold before your eyes. Not every opportunity that glitters is gold. Some blessings come wrapped in deception, designed to lure you into compromise. The enemy often presents what you desire most, knowing it will catch your attention and cloud your discernment. If you pursue without divine guidance, you may fall into traps that bring heartbreak, betrayal, or failure. A classic example is the sudden too-good-to-be-true business proposal. On paper, it looks perfect: lucrative returns, immediate growth, and promises of prestige, but hidden beneath the surface may be deceit, manipulation, or unethical practices that could ruin your career or reputation. Without God's intervention, these masked offers can derail your destiny before you even realize it. The lesson is clear: discernment is your armor. Pray, seek counsel, and wait for God's confirmation before stepping into any new venture. True blessings bring peace, alignment, and divine confirmation, not confusion, fear, or compromise. When the real blessing comes, it will come with unmistakable clarity, timing, and protection. We often mistake delay for denial. When doors remain closed, when progress seems halted, or when your prayers appear unanswered, it is easy to feel frustrated or abandoned. Yet, this pause is often God's hand at work, protecting you from unseen dangers and preparing you for greater victories. Consider a river blocked by a dam. At first, it seems like obstruction, but the blockage allows the water to gather strength, build pressure, and eventually burst through with unstoppable force. In the same way, God's pauses are not punishments. They are preparations. Every moment of waiting strengthens your faith, refines your character, and aligns your circumstances for the perfect breakthrough. Remember, God's protection is often silent but powerful. While you may feel stagnant, angels are moving, situations are being rearranged, and the enemy's plans are being thwarted. Trust the divine pause, for when it lifts, your life will surge forward in ways far beyond what you imagined. Even when you rest, God's angels are at work on your behalf. They fight battles you cannot see, guard doors you cannot open, and position blessings you cannot yet grasp. Spiritual warfare is real, and your breakthrough often depends on unseen forces that God dispatches to shield and prepare you. Think of it as air traffic control. You sleep unaware of the complex maneuvers, landings, and takeoffs happening around the world. Similarly, God orchestrates your life from realms you cannot perceive, ensuring that no enemy scheme can overtake his plan. You may wake up and feel life is stagnant, but divine forces are aligning events, people, and opportunities to secure your future. Trust in this invisible movement. Your role is simple: obey, pray, and remain patient. While you rest, God's power moves. When you act at the appointed time, the breakthrough will arrive fully formed, protected, and victorious, proof that heaven has been at work, even when you were unaware. Not everyone who smiles with you walks faithfully with you. Some people enter your life appearing loyal, but their intentions are driven by envy, greed, or malice. God warns us to discern carefully before placing trust, especially when important breakthroughs are near. Blind trust can turn a blessing into a betrayal. History is full of examples: the confidant who leaked secrets, the partner who sabotaged a business deal, or the friend who betrayed a personal trust. Betrayal often comes from those closest to us, but God's wisdom provides protection when we seek it. Ask for discernment. Pray for clarity, and never ignore that uneasy feeling when something seems off. True friends will align with your destiny, celebrate your victories, and act in ways that honor God. False friends will seek personal gain at your expense. By heeding God's guidance, you safeguard not only your current journey, but also the integrity of your future blessings. Life often tests us in ways we do not immediately recognize. Silent trials, small delays, unexpected challenges, or uncomfortable restrictions are designed to prepare you for the magnitude of your destiny. God uses these moments to mold character, deepen faith, and separate genuine readiness from impulsive action. Imagine an athlete training tirelessly, enduring pain and repetition that goes unnoticed by spectators. Every disciplined movement, every sacrifice builds strength for the day of triumph. Similarly, the trials God allows are His way of shaping you into someone capable of handling the weight of breakthrough. Impatience or rebellion during these tests can sabotage your destiny. Stay vigilant, for each test carries a lesson. Embrace them, learn from them, and trust that God's hand is directing the process. The silent moments are not empty. They are fertile ground for preparation, resilience, and divine favor that will soon manifest in undeniable victory. We live in a culture of urgency where impatience often leads to mistakes. Your heart may desire immediate results, but God is asking you to be still. Acting prematurely can turn blessings into setbacks, as timing is often more important than effort. Obedience to God's pace ensures that when your moment arrives, it is secure and transformative. Consider the story of a seed planted too early in frozen soil. The gardener's impatience might destroy the plant before it has a chance to thrive. In life, rushing toward your goals without God's timing can have the same effect. Trust that waiting, though uncomfortable, is working in your favor. Stillness is not weakness, it is strength. It is a conscious choice to align your desire with God's timing, while the world pressures you to act. Choosing patience demonstrates faith, wisdom, and the maturity necessary to receive a breakthrough that lasts a lifetime. When opportunities close unexpectedly, it may feel like rejection, but closed doors are often God's protective hand, preventing you from stepping into harm. Every no or delay is a redirection steering you toward what is truly meant for your life. History shows countless examples. Entrepreneurs, leaders, and visionaries often faced rejection before their ultimate breakthrough. Each setback was not denial, but protection, a divine nudge guiding them toward better alignment and greater success. God's shield may appear inconvenient, but it safeguards your destiny. Recognize closed doors as blessings in disguise, rather than dwelling on frustration. Seek understanding and trust that God is preparing you for a path that is safer, more prosperous, and fully aligned with His divine plan. Sometimes God speaks in whispers, a subtle warning in a conversation, a sudden uneasy feeling, or a repeated dream. Ignoring these whispers can have costly consequences. The enemy is crafty, but God provides guidance at every step, often in ways that seem almost insignificant at the time. Imagine ignoring a fire alarm because it seemed minor. That small sound could prevent a disaster. In life, God's whispers function the same way. A word of caution ignored, a prompting dismissed, or a small sign overlooked could be the difference between safety and harm. Learn to listen attentively. Your spiritual intuition, guided by God, is a lifeline. Each whisper is a thread in the fabric of protection God is weaving around you. When you pay attention, you align with His wisdom and avoid pitfalls the world cannot see. Comfort is deceptive. Some of the most dangerous traps appear safe and familiar. God may pull you away from relationships, jobs, or habits that feel comfortable but threaten your destiny. His hand guides you toward what is life-giving, even when it feels uncertain. Think of a snake hidden in the grass. It may not strike immediately, but lurking danger exists where we feel safest. Similarly, God's interventions often seem disruptive, but they prevent long-term harm. Trusting Him during these moments ensures that you are positioned for life, not destruction. God's guidance requires courage. Letting go of the familiar is challenging, but the breakthrough awaiting you depends on obedience. When you step away from danger under God's direction, you make room for blessings that are secure, sustainable, and destined for your life. Obedience isn't just about personal gain. It carries generational impact. Every faithful step, every act of submission to God, creates a foundation for those who come after you. By heeding God's warnings and walking in His timing, you open doors not only for yourself, but for your family and future generations. Consider the legacy of Abraham or Joseph, whose obedience set in motion blessings that impacted entire nations. Your choices today, guided by faith and patience, can similarly establish a legacy of favor, provision, and divine alignment. Every act of obedience is a spiritual investment. While impatience or rebellion may bring immediate gratification, it risks undermining long-term blessings. Step carefully, follow God's guidance, and watch as your life becomes a testimony of generational favor. God's patience is immense, but His warnings are real. You may have received messages, signs, and nudges repeatedly, 5 times as He has spoken, and yet the danger remains if ignored. The time to act is now. Delay could mean that the breakthrough is lost, opportunities collapse, and trust is broken. Every moment of hesitation increases the risk of falling into the enemy's trap. God desires your alignment, your safety, and your destiny fulfilled. The choice is yours. Heed the warnings and walk in obedience, or risk the consequences of ignoring divine guidance. This is not fear. It is clarity. God is calling, protecting, and positioning you for unparalleled breakthroughs. When you respond, your life will testify to His mercy, wisdom, and unending love. Don't wait any longer. The time to listen, obey, and trust is now. The enemy is cunning and strategic. He doesn't always attack with force. Often he distracts with what looks appealing. That job offer, that tempting relationship, that shortcut to success, they may appear as opportunities, but they could pull you away from God's perfect timing. If your eyes are on the prize and your heart is not fully aligned with God, the deception is almost invisible. Distractions often come wrapped in excitement. You feel the rush, the adrenaline, the allure of immediate gain. But the heart of deception is subtle. It whispers just this once, or what's the harm? These words are the enemy's sirens, and they lure even the strongest believers into paths filled with setbacks, betrayal, or unfinished dreams. God warns you so you don't stumble blindly into traps that masquerade as blessings. Even seasoned believers are not immune. History is filled with stories of those who chased opportunities without seeking God first, only to find themselves in ruin. The enemy thrives in haste, in impulsiveness, and in choices made outside of divine guidance. Recognizing these moments requires discernment, prayer, and a willingness to pause when everything seems urgent. The antidote to deception is focus. When you center your life around God's will, His voice becomes louder than the world's temptations. He calls you to clarity, alignment, and patience. In that moment, you must choose distraction, or divine direction, your breakthrough depends on that choice. When God pauses your plans, it can feel frustrating. You've prayed, prepared, and acted, yet the path seems blocked. But this pause is not punishment, it's divine protection. God stops your plans because He sees what you cannot. That opportunity, if pursued now, could bring heartbreak, betrayal, or failure. Think of it like a protective hand pulling you back from a cliff just as you step forward. While you see delay, God sees danger. The pause may feel uncomfortable, but it is life-saving. Often our impatience blinds us to hidden threats, and God's timing ensures that when doors open, they open fully and safely. This is a time to reflect, pray, and discern. The pause is an invitation to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Every moment of waiting strengthens your character and aligns you with divine purpose. What seems like postponement is actually preparation for the ultimate breakthrough. Trusting the pause requires faith. It is easy to question why things are delayed, but God's wisdom surpasses our understanding. When you submit to His timing, you position yourself for a destiny that is protected, prosperous, and perfectly aligned with His plan. Silence can feel unbearable, especially when you are eager for progress. Yet in the quiet, God often reveals what you could never see in the noise. Waiting teaches patience, reveals character, and uncovers hidden opportunities that would otherwise remain invisible. In silence, you learn discernment. You notice patterns, recognize subtle signs, and develop a spiritual sensitivity that guides you away from traps. While the world pushes for immediate action, God uses silence to prepare you for a moment of clarity that could change your life forever. Many breakthroughs are born in the quiet. The entrepreneur who waits patiently, the leader who prays before speaking, the student who studies diligently in isolation. These are the ones who step into opportunity fully prepared. Waiting is not wasted time. It is strategic positioning. Embrace the stillness. Let your spirit listen for the whispers of God. He is moving in unseen ways, aligning people, situations, and circumstances. When the time comes to act, your breakthrough will be unmistakable, fully protected, and transformative. Not all who smile at you are loyal. Some friends are hidden saboteurs, waiting for the right moment to act against you. God often exposes these false friends before the damage is done, but you must pay attention to the signs. Unneeded warnings and subtle betrayals are messages from the Spirit, warnings to protect your heart and destiny. Betrayal is painful, especially when it comes from someone trusted. It can shake your confidence, distort your judgment, and even derail progress. But God's intervention allows you to recognize the truth before devastation occurs. These moments test your discernment and prepare you to safeguard your journey. Recognizing false friends requires both spiritual and emotional awareness. Trust must be earned and constantly evaluated against integrity, consistency, and alignment with God's values. Blind loyalty can cost you more than you realize, but vigilant discernment protects not only your breakthrough, but also your peace. Ultimately, the exposure of betrayal strengthens you. It teaches resilience, refines his judgment, and clears the path for authentic relationships. God's timing ensures that only allies aligned with your destiny remain by your side. Sometimes God opens doors we never imagined. These doors appear suddenly without warning, and often arrive disguised as ordinary circumstances. What seems accidental may be the very moment that changes your life, positioning you for the breakthrough you've been praying for. Opportunities rarely arrive perfectly packaged. They may challenge your comfort zone, require courage, or demand a leap of faith. But when recognized and embraced, these unexpected doors become gateways to fulfillment, prosperity, and spiritual elevation. Consider moments in history when a simple decision changed everything. A phone call, a chance encounter, or a small act of obedience has redirected destinies. God's unexpected doors operate the same way. They require readiness, discernment, and courage to step through. Preparation meets opportunity when you walk faithfully with God. Your obedience, patience, and spiritual alignment prime you to recognize the right door. The breakthrough behind it will be unmistakable, filled with favor, and perfectly timed for your destiny. God sometimes removes people and places from your life, not as punishment, but as protection. Toxic relationships, harmful environments, and destructive habits can hinder your progress and block your destiny. His hand extracts these elements to preserve your integrity, peace, and future success. The removal may feel painful or confusing at first. Loss often carries grief, disappointment, and resistance. But every extraction is an act of love. God sees what you cannot. The unseen damage, the subtle manipulation, and the potential derailment that could have occurred if these elements remained. Divine extraction is also a call to self-reflection. What attachments, habits, or patterns are holding you back? What relationships are slowing your spiritual, emotional, or financial growth? By surrendering these, you make space for God's blessings to enter fully. Trust in the process, even when it feels abrupt. God's removals are strategic, creating room for new relationships, environments, and opportunities aligned with your purpose. In time, you will see that what was taken was never meant to hinder your rise. It was only delaying your glory. Life often tests you in ways that seem confusing or unfair. God allows challenges, delays, and pressure because they prepare you for leaps you cannot yet perceive. These tests refine your faith, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your resolve for the next stage of your destiny. Tests often feel heavy, like burdens too large to bear. But each obstacle is shaping resilience, patience, and wisdom. Your response determines not just the outcome of the test, but the scale of the breakthrough awaiting you. Those who endure emerge equipped for opportunities beyond imagination. Spiritual and emotional preparation is the essence of these tests. They teach discernment, highlight blind spots, and reveal hidden strengths. Every struggle carries a lesson, and every delay carries a hidden blessing. God's intention is not to punish, but to perfect your readiness. When the test is complete, you will step forward with confidence and clarity, ready to embrace a leap that previously seemed impossible. Your breakthrough, once unattainable, becomes your new reality, fully secured by the lessons you have learned. God communicates constantly, often through subtle signals in everyday life. A repeated verse, a timely conversation, or a sudden change in circumstance can carry divine meaning. Ignoring these spiritual signals can delay your destiny or expose you to unnecessary setbacks. These signs are like lights on a dark road. They guide, warn, and direct you toward what is safe and aligned with your purpose. When recognized, They provide clarity, insight, and confirmation for your next steps. Discernment is key. Prayer and spiritual awareness help you interpret them accurately. History is filled with individuals whose attention to spiritual signals changed the course of their lives. Listening closely and responding obediently ensures you align with God's timing, protection, and favor. Ignoring them, however, invites error, confusion, and unnecessary struggles. Train your spirit to notice the whispers, nudges, and recurring patterns around you. God's signals are always for your protection and advancement. Responding faithfully transforms ordinary moments into divine appointments and ordinary paths into highways of blessing. Obedience is not only about grand gestures. It starts with the small things, your choices, discipline, and faithfulness in daily life determine the scale of your breakthroughs. God notices what the world overlooks, and every act of obedience sets the stage for exponential blessings. Small acts of faith, honesty in business, patience in relationships, integrity in decisions build spiritual momentum. These actions accumulate and create an unseen network of favor that aligns circumstances, people, and opportunities for massive success. Many are tempted to skip the small steps, seeking immediate results or shortcuts, but skipping foundational obedience often leads to fragile success. God's principle is clear. Faithfulness in the small ensures stability and prepares you for the extraordinary. The reward for obedience in small things is powerful. When your breakthrough arrives, it is fully supported, secure, and overflowing with favor. God honors the faithful, and no act of obedience, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Your life is a battleground you cannot always see. While you sleep, walk, or work, an invisible war rages between God's angels and the enemy's forces. Every prayer, every act of faith, and every obedience strengthens God's army, securing your path and protecting your destiny. The enemy seeks to disrupt, deceive, and destroy, but God's angels work strategically, intercepting lies, redirecting harm, and guiding your steps toward victory. The battles may be invisible, but their effects are profound. They can determine the safety of your breakthrough, the integrity of your relationships, and the success of your plans. Recognizing the battle encourages vigilance, prayer, and faith. Spiritual awareness allows you to partner with God's forces rather than remain passive. Every moment of obedience strengthens His hand, weakening the enemy's schemes and paving the way for victory. The invisible battle demonstrates that you are never alone. Even when circumstances seem overwhelming, divine forces fight for you. Trust, persevere, and stay aligned with God's will, knowing that your breakthrough is being secured even when you can't yet see the outcome. There are moments when danger hides in plain sight, an opportunity seems perfect, a person seems trustworthy, or a situation seems harmless. But God sees the hidden trap. His intervention is subtle yet profound, redirecting you before devastation occurs. You may not understand it at first, but later clarity will reveal His protective hand. Traps often come disguised as blessings. The enemy knows your desires and uses them as bait. What you thought was your shortcut to success, happiness, or fulfillment could have led to betrayal, financial loss, or emotional pain. God in His love pulls you back, reminding you that patience and obedience safeguard your destiny. Sometimes